You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The best case scenario for Syracuse football, factoring in the roster, the quarterback play, the schedule, is 9-3 in the regular season with the shot at making the college football playoff. I'm going to break down my reasoning in just a second, but I would love to hear your thoughts right now in the comment section below. If everything breaks right for Syracuse football, what do you think their ceiling is for 2025? Can you see this team making the college football playoff? I want to hear from you in the comment section below. Let's start out with this. If Syracuse is going to be really good this upcoming season, that probably means they hit once again in the transfer portal at the quarterback position, which, of course, in football, quarterback is the most important position on the field. Last year, there was more certainty at the position. Kyle McCord was coming over from Ohio State. He was a full-time starter there, and even though he might have underachieved, according to many people around the country, many insiders, many prognosticators, experts, people around Syracuse, including myself and probably including you as well, knew that, hey, he's at least going to be pretty good for Syracuse. In fact, I actually went on here and predicted that Kyle McCord would finish second team All-ACC. That's one thing that I got right about Syracuse football a year ago, is that Kyle McCord would finish second team All-ACC. And even though he actually did finish second team All-ACC, he still managed to exceed my expectations, setting all the records that he did a year ago in passing yards and touchdowns, 300-yard games at Syracuse. He was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Kyle McCord's no longer here, but that doesn't mean they can't still not hit on the quarterback position. And if Syracuse is going to realize its ceiling, it means they likely got really strong quarterback play from either Notre Dame transfer Steve Angeli or LSU transfer Rickie Collins. It's tough to project how either quarterback is going to do, but the good news is that Syracuse retained offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon. Jeff Nixon was hired by Fran Brown last year. He was coming over from the NFL as a running backs coach. He did a phenomenal job. Syracuse had one of, if not the best offenses in the country. It was a methodical passing game type of offense. Kyle McCord was in the shotgun all the time, the run and shoot, really, to be exact for you all. If you really want to get all technical, that's kind of the offense that Syracuse ran a year ago. It worked to perfection, or near perfection, as close as you can get. He's back. Syracuse does not have to change systems. For them, it's about finding players who can fit the system. So hopefully Syracuse football struck gold once again in the transfer portal, whether it's Rickie Collins or Steve Angeli. He fits the system, and therefore Syracuse will have a chance to get to 9-3 and the college football playoff. But there's more to it and how Syracuse can realize its full potential here. The schedule. We've talked a lot about the schedule here on this podcast and how tough it is. And trust me, on the next segment, we're going to discuss how the schedule also works against them, right? But think about it this way. Here are the road games for Syracuse football. And yes, I'm going to include Tennessee because even though it's not technically a road game, it is a road game because neutral site is not on your home field. And it's in Atlanta. But here's what it is. You got Tennessee neutral site technically, at Notre Dame, at Clemson, at Miami, at SMU, at Georgia Tech. And it's not like their home schedule is super easy either. They're still going to play good teams as well, but that's their road schedule. But the reason why I say their ceiling is 9-3 with a shot at making the college football playoff is because that schedule in a way does work for them, if that makes sense. If Syracuse were to go 9-3 in the regular season, okay? They go 9-3. That means they beat 3 of the teams that I just mentioned. At least. They would have had to beat 3 of Tennessee, Notre Dame, Clemson, Miami, SMU, and Georgia Tech, All those are road games or neutral site. Think about it this way. Remember Alabama a year ago? We like to make fun of Alabama here on this podcast and how they thought they deserved a college football playoff spot over SMU because they went 9-3 and beat some really good teams. But that's kind of the point. Actually, Alabama would have made the college football playoff if SMU beat Clemson in the ACC title game. Alabama was going to get that last spot over 10-2 Miami in the regular season. Why? Because even though Alabama lost to some pretty bad teams like Vanderbilt and Oklahoma a year ago, they also beat really good teams and they had a tough schedule. They beat Georgia last year. So they had a legitimate chance to make the college football playoff as that 12th and final seed, but Clemson was the bid stealer a year ago from Alabama. The point is, I don't think Syracuse would ever get the respect that Alabama did, but when you look at the Orange's schedule, if they go 9-3, that will give them a chance to go to the college football playoff. And to just spoil ahead to what I'm going to talk about in the third segment here on this podcast, Syracuse went 9-3 last year. They had no chance at the college football playoff. Why? Their schedule. Yeah, their schedule helped them go 9-3, but also it wasn't impressive enough in front of the committee to sit there and say they legitimately deserve a look at the college football playoff. 10-2 Miami had a shot, but 9-3 Alabama had the best chance. Syracuse was in the 20s. They had no chance. They still went 9-3. The point is that even though the schedule was difficult, Syracuse does have that chance to make the college football playoff because if they have a strong regular season with the schedule that they have, it means that they have a pretty impressive resume. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Your ceiling for Syracuse football and what you think needs to happen in order for Syracuse to reach its potential. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section below and whether or not you believe that Syracuse has a chance to make the college football playoff. To me, if everything breaks right, they hit on their quarterback play, the young guys, even though they're a little inexperienced, they proved to be good pretty much right away. I think their ceiling is 9-3 with a shot at making the college football playoff.